So over the summer, I made a video about Justin Jefferson and how the NFL should be terrified of him. It only got 130 views. But my love for the Vikings did not stop there. I continued to make videos, and I continued to believe in them. Even though I had a channel called Daily Packers that has over 5,000 subscribers at this point, I began talking about the Vikings so much that it honestly got annoying because the Packers and Vikings are rivals. And I remember getting some comments from Packers fans saying that, hey, if you like the Vikings so much, you should just make a Vikings channel. And I would make a Vikings channel, and now I cover the Vikings all the time here. They're my most covered team. Now, I don't know. That's a lie. I was going to tell you guys I don't know what it is. I know exactly what it is. Here's the reason why, the real reason why I enjoy making Vikings videos so much. Well, for one, obviously, they're a good team, and they're fun to watch, and they've got Justin Jefferson, but this is a team that I was hyping up, and I'm starting to get comments of people remembering me hyping them up, which feels good because, hey, don't listen to the media. Form your own interpretation. It goes a long way. But I remember just looking at Kevin O'Connell. I'm looking at this new style of offense. I mean, I knew Mike Zimmer was holding this team back. Even before I made YouTube videos for football, bro. My best friend growing up is a Vikings fan. He might even be watching this video because I told him about my channel. But Mike Zimmer, he just doesn't fit the modern NFL. The modern NFL, you look at the Rams and the offense they ran, about just keeping it simple yet effective, throwing the ball short to the intermediate area. You don't have to necessarily run the ball a bunch. I mean, having Dalvin Cook helps, but we've seen the Vikings use Kirk Cousins, and his yards per attempt are obviously the lowest it's been since he became a Viking in 2018. That style of football, eventually it's going to change. Another reason is obviously it's a new offense, and it's going to take Kirk time, but I just looked at the numbers, and Kirk Cousins, he's around the territory of the 15th best quarterback. If you look at all of the advanced analytics, Kirk to me looked like he was about the 15th best quarterback in the league. And coming into the season, I said he was a top 10 to 15 type of quarterback. He's in that type of range, and he's played like it. Kirk Cousins is only going to get better. The Vikings are only going to improve. And we've seen that week to week. Now, the Vikings, there was talks about them and how they haven't beaten a team over 500 besides the two-less Dolphins. Well, they just went to Buffalo and beat the Bills. They played their style of football in the second half. They held the Bills to 3 points. Obviously, they moved the ball at will. And even though the Vikings did make some silly turnovers, they still picked up a win. And that's kind of been a common occurrence for the Vikings, is everything seems to go right. They've had some pretty poor games. Obviously, they barely beat the Lions. They really barely beat the Bears. They smoked the Packers. They took care of the Dolphins, stuff like that. Like they've had some ups and downs, but we were kind of waiting for them to have a full good half of football. And in the first half, they were not good against the Bills, but in the second half, as they typically do, they showed up and made plays. Justin Jefferson, I'm looking at Patrick Peterson. Kirk Cousins made some key throws. Dalvin Cook goes out there and has a, 81-yard touchdown run. The reason why I started making Minnesota Vikings videos is because I wanted to spread the faith that the Vikings are different this year. This is a team that a lot of people say has had good teams, good talent, but they aren't able to execute. And the hate that the Vikings got from my Packers videos actually made me make a Vikings channel because, no disrespect to the Packers and their fans, I still have a lot of love for them, but the Green Bay Packers are good every single season. They overshadow a team like the Vikings, the Bears, and the Lions. But I knew, and I said it even in my Packers videos, that if the Packers do not show up this season, they're going to be humbled by the Minnesota Vikings. And I don't think I ever got a comment agreeing with that, agreeing that the Vikings were legit. And here we are. They've won 7 games in a row. They're 8-1. And it's looking like they've got a real chance to get the number 1 seed. Even though the Eagles beat them back in week 2, the Vikings are far from the same team as they were then. Kirk said himself, I'm not the same guy right now as I was in week 3. That's coming from Kirk Cousins himself. Kirk Cousins is a damn good quarterback. Kirk, if you want to come and play for my Colts anytime, you're welcome to. Is Kirk Cousins an elite quarterback? Is he Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady? No. But Kirk Cousins is the type of player who's not going to take shit from anyone. He's going to make the throws down the field. He's going to do what he's supposed to. And that's Kirk Cousins. He puts his team in a position to win. The Vikings have been in positions to win the past 4 years since he's been here, bro. And they're going to continue to do that. But the thing that's different now is the coach, Kevin O'Connell. He's young. I believe he's the second youngest coach in the league. But there's something about his system and his scheme that just maybe you don't have the most talent. I mean, the Buffalo Bills, they're loaded with talent. They've got Josh Allen, Gabriel Davis, Stephon Diggs, bro. Dawson Knox is pretty damn good. They've got an elite defense as it gets. But the Vikings, they went into Buffalo, a game which they were not supposed to win. And if you say that they were, you're lying, because I don't know if I saw anyone pick the Vikings to beat the Bills. And even besides that, all the talk is about how the Vikings have had a soft schedule and how they haven't played a real team. Well, the first half was not good, but the second half, they dominated. To go into Buffalo and to dominate the Bills, only an elite football team does that. Who have the Bills lost to this season? I'm trying to think. Honestly, don't even remember. The Vikings beat them. I know the Bills beat the Chiefs and the Bills beat the Ravens. Oh, the Dolphins. That's right. That game was in Miami, though. Who was the other Bills lost to? I feel like I should know this. Somebody let me know down below. Oh, the Jets. Yeah, it was the Jets. That game was in New York. Yeah, so there you go. The only loss that the Bills have had at home this season was to the Vikings, which actually helps my point. So if you're a Minnesota Viking fan right now, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, because I got a lot of love for you guys. The Vikings team channel is the only one that I'm relatively consistent at, so that's pretty cool. My Chargers and Packers teams, like, I got a lot of love for them, but the Vikings, the Chargers, honestly, the Chargers haven't won a Super Bowl. So any team that hasn't won a Super Bowl, I'm more likely to cover, because there probably isn't a lot of coverage for them. I could easily go find Chargers, and Vikings content is everywhere. I mean, it's the NFL, but from non-fans, how much content? You know, how much content's going around right now for the Vikings that from people that aren't Vikings fans? Probably not much. So I'll leave it at that, honestly. That's all I got for you guys. I originally wasn't even going to make a Vikings video today, but the reason why I decided to go through with it was just because everything's changing for the better, bro. It was a lot of talks, even a couple weeks ago, about, hey, man, I'm not going to keep my hopes up. The Vikings always let me down. A lot of those people are starting to change their opinion, and I'm not knocking them for it. I'm actually pleasing them for it. I'm praising them for it, because they're starting to realize that this is a different Vikings team. And, hey, the Eagles, the Cowboys, those are the two teams to keep an eye on. You play the Cowboys at home next week. Obviously, the Eagles got you at the start of the season, but the goal right here has to be to get the #1 seed, get home field, so that the Eagles have to go into Minnesota. That's only going to benefit this Vikings team, having the fans rally behind you, fans that are obviously desperate for a Super Bowl, a team that's desperate. They've got good leadership in the locker room. You know, Kirk Cousins and Kevin O'Connell, a leader out there, and Zadarius Smith on the defense. We know what Danielle Hunter brings in this front. The secondary, Patrick Peterson's a veteran. You talk about motivation, Patrick Peterson. There's no more motivated player in football right now than Patrick Peterson. When he signed with the Vikings, he didn't even get a call from his old GM. He didn't even get a call from his old GM about any of the situation. So it kind of just was a slap in the face to him. And he had 2 interceptions against Josh Allen, which is remarkable. Without Patrick Peterson, they didn't win that game. But yeah, the Vikings got a squad, bro. Shout out to them, man, for real. Shout out to the fans, man. Obviously, like, I do YouTube for a job and stuff like that, but this isn't a job, bro. I get to talk about the Minnesota Vikings for 8 minutes. I mean, are you kidding me? This is fun. This is awesome. And I can't wait to watch the Vikings next game against the Cowboys in Minnesota, man. That shit about to be lit as hell. But yeah, guys, appreciate you. I'm out later.